With Bitcoin sitting just a couple percent away from all-time high, could good CPI data send Bitcoin and altcoins soaring on good news today? Plus, are we back to see a Solana and Sui ETF in the near future? And what will happen to their prices if we do? This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when I drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz IO, and as always, not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright, good morning you guys. Today is CPI day, and we have Ash Crypto here saying today's CPI data is going to be very crucial, and it's coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The market consensus is expecting a 2.5% year-over-year increase, while last month's CPI data was at 2.3%. If CPI data comes higher than 2.3%, it'll mark the first CPI increase since February. The FOMC meeting will happen next week, and the Fed will definitely keep a close eye on this. Here are the different scenarios and how the market will react. First scenario, if CPI is over 2.5%, this will be bad for the markets, really bad. Not only will CPI be higher than expectations, but it'll also mark the biggest month-over-month increase in 2025. Scenario 2, CPI comes at 2.5%, and this will initially result in a small dump, followed by a reversal. The reason is the markets are in a good momentum, so neutral news means bullish news. In the third scenario, if CPI comes in under 2.5%, every crypto holder is praying for this scenario. It'll pump the stock market, Bitcoin, and even alts. So we had the CPI data come out. We actually have it right here. If we go to year over year, it came in at 2.4%, so under 2.5%, but it is still a 0.1% increase over the previous year. So we can see here we had a slight increase. So, everyone was expecting 2.5%, so it's a little bit less. So it's kind of like neutral-ish news, and we haven't had a big pump yet. If we go to the Bitcoin
chart,
even
surge, bro?
We're pretty much at the same spot as we were yesterday, hovering just above this level of support here around $109,500. If we go into the lower time frames, you can see CPI came out this morning. We pumped here. Now, maybe we haven't had the full-on pump yet, but it seems like the market is kind of just taking this as it's good news. Like Bitcoin didn't do too much, but I will say alts like Solana did a lot better, and Ethereum did a lot better than Bitcoin did on the lower time frames, at least so far. So alts are performing better on this kind of neutral-ish news than Bitcoin so far, but I think Bitcoin still does look pretty good, and it looks like it wants to test new all-time highs pretty soon, in my opinion. So I think we'll be at new all-time highs sooner than later, but it looks like Bitcoin is the slower of the assets today, and alts are finally starting to catch a little bit more of a bid, which is good for us. Then moving on, we also have Mo saying, huge news, GameStop just bought an additional 4,710 Bitcoin worth $500 million. So we've been talking about the accumulation of Bitcoin throughout this level when we dumped down to 100,000. So we had $100,000. Michael Saylor, we know, bought all throughout here. BlackRock, Fidelity, all the ETFs bought throughout here. But also at the same time, we had GameStop buying throughout there as well. Then we also have latest, US and China say they've agreed on a trade framework after 2 days of talks in London. There's cautious optimism around rare earths and tariffs, but it still needs approval from both sides. Could this be the start of a meaningful reset in global trade? So potentially a trade deal is coming soon, and we could see a pump in the markets as well once this kind of FUD and also just kind of uncertainty around the markets goes away. And then we have a new potential CFTC chair nominee, Quintez, who says Bitcoin and crypto have the potential to touch every aspect in society. So he says this.
This experience has provided me with 3 invaluable insights to bring to bear should I have the honor of being confirmed. First, I've traveled the world meeting with other jurisdictions, regulators, and government officials, where I learned what they have attempted to do, what they have left to do, what has worked well or poorly in creating regulatory frameworks for crypto assets and intermediaries. Second, I've had a direct line of sight into the future of this technology and how it could transform our lives. I view blockchain as a horizontal technology that has the potential to touch every aspect of society, not just as a vertical technology purely focused on financial services.
And we also have the White House crypto director, who says they will soon announce plans to accumulate more Bitcoin, saying this.
Our Democratic counterparts certainly recognize that we have to harness this asset class for the American people, and there's certainly going to be countries overseas that are racing to accumulate as much as they can. And I've had this question asked to me repeatedly by journalists, like, how much do you want? I'm like, that's the silliest question of all time. And lo and behold, I get asked that question.
I was going to ask that.
No, I mean, I will say very clearly, we want as much Bitcoin as we can possibly get. We have to do this in budget neutral ways that don't cost a taxpayer a dime, but there are countless ways in which we can do it. And if you read the fine print of the executive order, it kicks these innovative ideas over to Commerce and Treasury to come up with, but we'll flesh these out amongst our working group actors. We will move expeditiously on those that can be quickly implemented. But it's not one size fits all. It's not like we have to do this in one singular format. There can be hundreds of different ways we do this, if not thousands. And so we talked about this in different verticals, whether it be like through mining activity, whether it be through bit bonds. I mean, there's tons of creative things we can do.
Like taxes in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean,
Bitcoin,
it's endless. And so people ask me to give like clear examples. And the reason I don't want to tell you what we're going to do first yet is because I really don't want to poison the well. We want to do something that's going to be the most effective for the United States. And so when we're ready to announce that, which I'm sure we will be in short order, I think that this community will be extremely pleased.
And then moving on, we have 21 shares with an update saying the SEC has acknowledged Nasdaq's filing to list and trade the shares of the 21 shares Sui ETF on the Federal Registry, formally initiating the review process for this proposed investment vehicle. We also have Sui in turn saying, breaking news, Nasdaq boosts Sui into U.S. markets while spot Sui ETF enters SEC fastlane. The Nasdaq has officially filed Form 19B4 to list the Sui spot ETF, now entering SEC review. With $300 million plus in global ETP inflows and mounting institutional support, momentum for Sui is on fire. Next up, full-blown institutional adoption, US-listed, regulated, mainstream, Sui is heading for the big leagues. Then Terrero Romero says, breaking, Sui reaches $100 billion in total DEX volume. And at the same time, Sui says Sui DeFi wins. $1.77 billion in TVL, now ranks number 8 across all blockchains. Bitcoin adoption rising. 10% of TVL is in wrap Bitcoin, LBTC, and STBTC. $1 billion plus in stablecoin, robust liquidity for builders and traders. Sui's DeFi ecosystem is just getting started. And we also have Terrero Romero saying Sui reaches 9% of total non-EVM TVL. So out of all the non-EVM blockchains, Sui is at 9%. And Sui is looking, we have to go to a higher time frame here. Sui is looking decent. It actually looks like it has reclaimed this level here. So this is a level where we broke down. So initially we were waiting for this level to be reclaimed. We might still get this if we come down here today. If Bitcoin wants to sell off a little bit, we might still get $3.34 as a nice level reclaim, where we're looking to go higher. But if Bitcoin just wants to continue higher because of the CPI news today, if we come back up here and reclaimed $3.60, that'll be even more bullish if we do this scenario right here first, and then we continue higher towards the $4 mark and then beyond. So these are the two scenarios I'm looking for today. Both could play out, but this one would be a little bit more bullish if we came back up here first and then reclaim this level and then continue higher. So that's what I'm looking for at Sui for today. Altcoins are up from the April lows, but mostly non-trending. And people are getting antsy for when the alt season will finally start. Sui is one of the select few who are at the heart of the growth in the current cycle, and it's quickly becoming one of the leading alts in the market and is up over 200% in the last 12 months. So let's check out why. Sui is killing it in all the big sectors it supports, like DeFi, where Sui nearly crossed $2 billion in TVL and is almost at $1.5 billion in record time. Sui has some of the fastest stablecoin growth of any chain, so people are using it for real transactions. Walrus is changing the game in decentralized data storage. Its token launch was a big hit, while Seal and Nautilus make things more secure and private. The Sui Play OX1 is coming in September and is now officially sold out with 10,000 pre-orders. Sui even has a small but growing meme coin market for meme coin lovers. If you haven't used Sui lately, then come give it a try and follow Sui's X account for all the latest updates linked down below. And then we have Ash Crypto saying breaking, a Solana ETF could be approved in 3 to 5 weeks according to Blockworks. We have a Solana Floor saying Bloomberg reports that the SEC could act early on a spot Solana ETF filing, with approval potentially coming within a month, as Rex shares and Osprey attempt regulatory workarounds to launch Solana products. We also have Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas saying, get ready for potential altcoin ETF summer, with Solana likely leading the way, as well as some basket products, via James Seyfarth's note this morning, which includes fresh odds for all the spot ETFs. So we can see here we have different ETFs here. We have basket or index of different altcoins at 90%. We have Litecoin at 90%, Solana at 90, XRP 85, Dogecoin 80, Cardano 75, Polkadot 75, HBAR 80, Avalanche 75, and Sui at 60%, with Tron TRX at not available at the current moment. So those are the current potential ETF odds according to them. So it looks like Solana is at a 90% so far right now. We also have CryptoRS saying Nasdaq includes XRP, XLM, Solana, and ADA in the firm's crypto index, NCI US. The firm offers an ETF that tracks the NCI US, but it can hold only Bitcoin and ETH due to SEC restrictions on the product. In March, the Nasdaq filed with the SEC for rule change to be able to include more digital assets, and the SEC is expected to make a decision by November. And then lastly, we have Marty Party saying Solana is about to change the game again. The release cycle and product pipeline is insane. 7-spot staking in kind ETFs, Fire Dancer 1 million transactions per second, Alpine Glow 100 millisecond finality, the Seeker phone coming soon, which is their second Solana phone, TouchPay USDC Rails, 00 Layer 0 network, permissionless native Doge and Bitcoin liquidity incoming, and battle tested. So Solana has the potential, probably the most likely ETF coming soon is Solana. And Solana is actually looking pretty good because of that. And we are pumping here. So it looks like we're starting to reclaim this level around $165. If we can break above, have a little bit more distance, and then come back down towards 165, this will be a nice level of reclaim. And I think we'll be heading towards 180 very soon. Ideally, once we break above this level, this is a major level of multi-month, multi-year level of support and resistance around $180. If we can break above that, it's going to be, a lot easier to get back towards $225 as the next major level of resistance, in my opinion. So this is a good trade right here if you want to, wait for a level reclaim here. But likewise, once we break above 180 and hold above there, I think we're going towards $225 pretty soon. I think the Solana ETFs will also help facilitate that as well. And also the big institutional inflows that we've already seen before the ETFs are even in the pipeline. So overall, I think if Bitcoin wants to continue higher with this potential neutral to bullish news of CPI data today, if Bitcoin wants to continue higher, I think Solana altcoins will also continue much higher today as well and later into the week. So if Bitcoin starts to break new all-time highs, I think Solana is breaking through this level of resistance at 180 pretty soon afterwards. So that's the video for today, guys. We are heading up slowly on Bitcoin. We have to just, be a little patient, but it looks like it wants to continue higher today on this CPI data news. So hopefully we see higher numbers, and hopefully we also see, new all-time highs in the next day or so for Bitcoin. So that's the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.